Now we're going to talk about Tampon Tuesday. I have Kim Hockey and Amanda Brierley as guests. Welcome. Nice to see both of you.
Hi, Donna. Nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
Okay, now start with you, Kim. Tell me about Tampon Tuesday.
Absolutely. So Tampon Tuesday is a really important initiative for our community. And United Way started coordinating it locally in our community, actually in 2020, just as the pandemic was starting to hit. But we had a really successful collection donation campaign that year. We started off with about 44,000 items that were collected. And prior to that, I guess in terms of a partnership and a relationship, back in 2017, United Way Canada and Labour joined forces to be able to have it as an initiative throughout United Ways across the country. Wow. And so then from there, of course, Bell Media is also a strong partner in the overall initiative as well.
And you're involved with home-based housing.
Yeah.
And so you see the end result of this, that people who receive this. So tell me about that.
So coming from a shelter point of view, Tampon Tuesday is extremely important. The women that we see are already financially strapped. And we know that without the means of Tampon Tuesday, health deteriorates. They don't have the means to, provide what they need during their cycle. And so Tampon Tuesday, it provides us with enough tampons and pads to help our community and those individuals that are struggling with being able to obtain some of these basic needs that we need for our females.
Like everything, the price is going up. And they're darned expensive. Right. What happens if you can't afford to buy this stuff?
Right. So
what do they do?
See, so
not change things often enough, and that can lead to infections and all kinds of that starts to impact.
Or they're using other things that aren't, sanitized.
Right.
Or they're going without, which also, like you said, not changing it, and it causes a lot of bacteria and medical issues for our females.
And then they become part of the healthcare system, so it costs us money. If you really want to stretch it, that's where what happens.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So Tampon Tuesday is a United Way function and other groups as well. Mm-hmm. And what are the goals this year? You say 44, how many?
In 2020, 44,000 items.
24, I was thinking, was that 1,000? Yes, it is.
But in 2023, last year, over 111,000 items were collected.
Whoa, that's amazing.
And so, Amanda has shared a little bit about, like from the frontline perspective of individuals who are in shelters, in transitional and supportive housing. When you think about the rest of the community, food bank, this is the #1 item that's requested at food banks, and yet, of course, it's the least donated because it's not something that people think of when they're thinking of donating to a food bank.
You're right. I wouldn't have thought of myself. They always talk in terms of non-perishable food. They don't talk about these things.
That's right.
My gosh.
There's, like you said too, Donna, is the cost of living continues to increase, and people in our community on social assistance, their social assistance isn't increasing. So they're not making more money as the cost of items are going up. And so, then you come to the choice of, do I purchase tampons or do I purchase food? Mm-hmm. Do I purchase tampons or do I purchase rent? And so, this is so beneficial because it's a need, but their money is needed elsewhere right now. So.
Right. And it's where can I cut back? And that is one of the things that they just might be cutting back on. Mm-hmm. There's a movement now in, I think Scotland was the first, and they made it so these things should be made free. How do you feel about that?
I agree. us as females don't have the option of whether or not we want to have our monthly cycles. And so I feel like it is something that should be offered to individuals free of charge. It does lead to, like you said, increased hospital stays, which then cost more than if we were just to provide tampons and pads to individuals on a regular basis.
Well, what I've heard is, well, it'd be like telling people you have to bring your own toilet paper if you're going to use a public washroom. And we'd say, are you kidding me? Like, come on. So it'll become as mainstream as that you'll find those products available. Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
we do know that in our local school boards, it has been made available for all of the students so that they can access. And I guess one of the things too, we just like to remind people that when we talk about Tampon Tuesday, we refer to the products as menstrual hygiene products. You know, obviously females menstruate, but we also have to take into consideration that we have other individuals in our community that may not identify as women, but still require these products. So we just really try to use that term to be inclusive of everybody who's in need.
I wouldn't have thought of that. Of
So, you know,
course.
we've got organizations like Trellis and HIV AIDS who are recipients of the products, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Club, the Food Bank, of course, the shelters,
Integrated care.
transitional housing programs, any organization really that that has individuals coming in who may be more vulnerable and in need, whether it be because of income issues and, you know, having to make sure that they've got enough to have basic needs met. In that regard, they may be housed, and in other circumstances, many who are not as well.
You've got anything from, well, as young as age 10, as old as age, let's say, 55.
Yeah.
That is one big segment of the population.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So if somebody wants to donate, how do we go about, what happens? How do I go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout the month of March, there are collection bins that are located at all of our Shoppers Drug Mart stores. They're a terrific partner and have been since the beginning, through Kingston and in Amherstview and in Napanee. All of our local Starbucks also have collection bins. We've got a couple of other organizations like Utilities Kingston and Curves. We encourage all of our workplaces who are donors of United Way or otherwise just to be able to, you know, put a bin up in their workplace and do collection. They can be brought to the United Way, or we can go and pick them up. You can also donate monetarily online, and even there's an Amazon wish list link where you can just go on, make the purchase, and it'll get delivered directly.
Oh, that's easy. That doesn't get much easier than that. But for the rest of us, I mean, next time you go to Shoppers Drug Mart,
Yeah.
you know, pick up your toothbrush and toothpaste,
Yeah.
grab some of these products and drop them in the
And
bin
drop
on
them
your
in the
way out.
bin.
on your
Or
way
you
out.
can scan the QR code that's on the posters, and
Oh.
as I say, the donations, then we take that money and we turn around and go back and make the purchases.
Sounds like a win-win all the way around. It's well thought through. Yeah. Well, and I understand that the United Way was a big part of the success of this from the beginning.
Yes, yes.
Right. Tell me about that.
Yeah, United Way Canada and Labour joined forces in 2017 to make it a partnership between United Way and Labour, and then locally since 2020 we've implemented it here in our own community.
So labor, you mean labor unions?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, the labour movement.
So all unions right across the board, or what? I'm
Through
not
the Canadian Labour Congress, yeah, and then
So-
so local, like our Kingston District Labour Council, for example. So great supporters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is huge.
Yeah.
My gosh. So yes, United Way, thank you very much for doing that, right? And this is a wonderful idea. So it isn't, it should be Tampon Tuesdays. This is
Yes.
actually for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a Tuesday.
It doesn't have
any
to be a
day of the
Tuesday.
week.
Any day of the week, for sure.
It's a great initiative, and thank you so much for coming in to tell me about it.
We thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.